Definitely, we should and we could collaborate on this very important issue, the common and greatest challenge to the humanities. But it is extremely hard.
Great, the answer is yes. I mean, in part because we have to. Um, um, Both countries have a stake in this, enormous stake in this. And so the question, I don't think, is whether we'll cooperate, but in what form and what are the most promising avenues.
The U.S. foundations, a lot of the NGOs started, and think tanks. We got a lot of people here. I think Chie, he's come and spoken for me. Dr. Zhang has come and spoken for me. Dean Mayer, we got to get you in at some point. So there's been a lot of interaction, and groups like Natural Resources Defense Council, they set up an office in China, as did the Energy Foundation. And you can see their fingerprints on a lot of China's, clean energy legislation. And so that's why when President Obama came in and people that weren't like nerdy China people like us, said like, wow, suddenly there's 9 clean energy agreements. Like, well, there was a lot of work over many years from the universities and the researchers and the NGOs to keep this relationship going.
A related issue has to do with the Belt and Road Initiative, which is seen by many in the U.S., skeptically for many reasons, but in part as encouraging a fossil fuel development in many places in the world. And I think, there's a fair critique in the early stages of the Belt and Road Initiative that was the case, encouraging investments in coal-driven power in developing countries. That may be changing, and so it'd be interesting. You pointed to the temptation to vilify China, to make it a scapegoat. It is a very tempting thing in American politics right now, and it is really damaging. I mean, when it happens, as in the case of this legislation, it's very hard for China to ignore it. And of course, it's a provocation. So that's a problem. And I think the best we can do is try to contain that at this point, and leadership matters a lot in that space.
Years ago, like almost all other countries, China thought that environmental protection was conflicting to its economic growth, and its priority is to grow its economy first and clean up later. But now China has realized that the traditional growth model is unsustainable, and the green transition represents a huge opportunity. So green development and carbon neutrality have become China's development strategy.
We're taking these actions on climate change and actions on public health, and as an opportunity to transform our economic growth model into a new one. We need this new one is going to be green, it's going to be low carbon, and it is going to be good for the public health. So this is the new narrative.
In the electric vehicle sector, I mean, it is a race to the top. Maybe we can even think of it kind of like a, what's the word I'm thinking of? Like a climate change space race between the two countries. So right now, China's got more those electric vehicle wheels on the ground, and the US lags behind. I mean, President Biden has said, we're going to invest, $174 billion in electric vehicles. That's great. But the US does have some strengths in some of the innovation, and notably the one area that I think we are, if we have to be ahead, we could say the vehicle to grid type technologies. And so this is encouraging.